Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video from us. And in this one, we are going to be talking a little bit more about business valuation. But really what we're going to be talking about is how do you determine equity in a business? In order to do this, the first thing we have to do is define what does equity mean? What is actual equity? Equity equals ownership. When I say equity, think ownership. That's all you need to think about. And the easiest way to relate it to you is if you own a home, and you own your home, and your home's worth $500,000, and you have a $250,000 mortgage, how much of your home do you actually own? You don't own the full 500 because if you sell it, you have to pay off the loan. So your equity, your ownership is truly only that $250,000 that you have that is the difference between the fair market value and the loan. So when you start thinking about it into basic terms of ownership, equity is ownership. Now, there are two different kinds of equity in a business that you need to be thinking about. Equity that is on your financial statements and equity that is a fair market value equity. And they are two very different things. So the first thing that you need to think about is the equity that is in your financial statements. It is truly just like a piece of real estate. It is the assets that you have inside of your business minus the liabilities equals your ownership. Same thing as in a house, right? The asset that you own, the 500,000 minus the liability, the 250 equals ownership of 250. Same thing in your business. But if you're a business owner, you're going, now, wait a minute, that doesn't accurately show how much my business is worth. Okay. So then you've got to start thinking about what is your business worth? What is the true value of your business in order to figure out what the equity is for you? Because if you're like me and most business owners, about 78% of our net worth is tied up inside of the equity ownership of our businesses. Which means if we ever want to retire and do something different, or if we want to capture that value that we've put so much effort in and so much risk into, we've got to make sure we understand the true value of the ownership inside of our business. And the easiest way to think about this is in some way, shape, or form, it's a measure of how much someone is willing to pay for it. Okay, that sounds overly simplistic. Of course it is, Matt. Yes, it's a matter of what somebody's willing to pay for it. So if you're in a business that has a patent, some sort of technology, right, that somebody could use and make millions and millions of dollars, your ownership might be worth whatever that patent's worth, regardless of how much money you're making. But for most businesses, it's a measure of how much cash you can actually generate with the business. Very similar to a real estate investment where somebody's going to go buy an apartment and say, okay, if I get 5% net income off of this through all the rents, then that's a good rate of return. Okay, well, 5% net income on a piece of real estate is the exact same thing as a 20 times earnings. So now we start thinking about it. Are we more or less risky than an apartment? Probably more risky than apartments, but not as risky as some things. So how do you make your business less risky and try to figure out what that is as some multiple of earnings as you go? Because what would someone need as a rate of return in order to buy your business and make it worth their while? How much cash would they need to be able to take out of this thing on an annual basis to make it worth their while to buy your business? And ultimately, that is the true ownership. So while you can find equity on your balance sheet, and that is a measure of financial strength, ultimately ownership, real equity that you have in your business, real net worth, real value, comes from its ability to generate cash. Generate more cash, you will generate a higher value for your business. Generate more predictable cash, you will generate a higher value for your business. Generate cash that's constantly growing and getting bigger, you'll generate a higher value for your business. So think about it in terms of cash, how much cash you can generate, and how predictable that cash is, and you will figure out what the ownership is in your business.